Good evening, Malaysia, and followers from around the world. Gong Si Fa Chai to everyone. Today, we're going to have a very special guest, Mr. Tzy Horng, a director of Julie's Biscuits. Yes, the biscuits we are all very familiar with. And for many of us, we grew up with it. Okay, it's a household name and a brand name that all of us are familiar. He is regarded as a second generation business leader of this company. In 2014, he founded the Best of You movement, a multimodal social movement that centers on appreciative storytelling for inclusivity and equality in Malaysia and Singapore. Having spent 12 years in Canada in academia as an educational psychologist, he's the best person to tell us about the branding exercise that's been carried out in Julie. So welcome, Tzy. We're pleased to have you. I know you're very busy, but thank you for spending time with us. Now, let's kick off with you telling us that Julie has turned 40, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's really a milestone. I mean, this is the familiar girl with the blonde pigtails, and that is something we're familiar with. But many of us over the past few weeks have noticed this video on social media. Julia is looking up now. Can you please tell us why has this exercise been carried out and why is she looking up now?
Well, thank you so much, RealChunWai, for the very generous introduction. I think for many years, Julie's has been, very quietly doing her thing in the background. And for many years, the logo hasn't really spoken out. She's just like a representative, a very quiet representative. But I think this time around, we wanted to make sure that she becomes truly an icon in our midst, in our existence as well. That she comes across as someone who's bringing out hope and bringing out confidence, bringing out aspiration, and a little bit of cheekiness as well. Yeah, we wanted her to be vibrant. We wanted her to be someone that people can look up to. And I guess when you tend to look up to people who look up, because they're looking up to something very interesting. They're looking up. You can see that they're enjoying themselves. They're also feeling very confident and very, very, very full of zest of life. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's about time that Julie's has this transformation. And we had so much fun during the process as well. We had the team and I and all the agencies that we worked with had just the best time throughout the entire preparation work for the rebranding. Yeah.
Tzy, why was this particular moment chosen for this rebranding exercise?
Actually, I'm nowadays thinking like it chose us, not that we chose them, because we chose this moment. Here's why. We were actually supposed to launch in July, August of last year, right? And we had so much preparations done the year before. So in 2019, we were almost probably already completed all the branding assets ready for launch. And then we wanted to make sure that everything was in the right timing, but COVID disrupted all of that. And it also threatened to push it back, maybe even indefinitely. Mm-hmm. But I think when we looked at the situation, we talked about it amongst ourselves. We felt like we really need 2021 to be a much better year. Mm-hmm. And what better way to launch the new brand or the refresh brand for 2021, so that 2021 you get a fresh look, you get a fresh new outlook, and a much better new outlook. And I seriously hope it doesn't look that way right now, right? It doesn't look that way for many countries still. It feels like an extension of 2020, but I really do hope things become much better. And even if they don't, we should always aspire to look forward and find the light in the storm. Yeah.
I think that you have found a right time to actually launch this, because that for most of us, we're actually glued to our screens, whether it's the computer screen, the phone screen, or just the social media screen. It's a captive audience, and that most people do not have much time to actually watch a video. But now, because of MCO, and that most of us are working from home, we spend a lot of time in front of the computer, and I actually watched from the beginning until the end. And on top of that, I didn't have enough. I wanted to see the bloopers as well as the trailer.
Oh,
So
wow,
it
okay.
was really a good one. And because of that, the video, I decided that, hey, I need to find out about Julia, and I need to give a call to Julia to find out more. And the second reason was because of this. I have been involved in the Stars Soba event for a while, okay? And I remember that I gave away some prizes to Julia, and that it was only at that moment I realized that, hey, I always thought that Julia was a foreign brand, okay? It was only at the Soba function when I gave away the prizes that I realized that, hey, I need to find out more about this company. I've been really ignorant, okay? And that this is when I looked through the records. So Julia was really fantastic, okay?
Oh, you mean you didn't know it was a Malaysian company until then?
So that comes to the next question, which a lot of people have actually asked me to ask you guys. Okay, when Julia decided to name Julia, okay, and you actually put an icon or someone with a blonde hair, okay, and a picture, why was this particular name chosen? Was there any reason? And you chose an icon of a foreign-looking person. I mean, was there to give the impression that, well, this is, 40 years ago, people wanted something really very foreign. Okay, now Malaysians take a different thing. If it's a Malaysian brand, wow, they feel really good. Was there any particular reason why it was Julia and a foreign person icon, or rather, Julie?
When the brand came out in 1985. So let me tell you the story first. I think many times people have asked me, who is she? Is she a real person? And the truth is, she's not a real person. She was born in an era where branding was very different from today. The idea of branding was very different from today. The idea of branding back then was very logo-centric. And logos are important. I think when my father set up the biscuit company back then, he set his eyes on selling to the world, and he decided that the name of the company needed to have a ring. It means it needs to be easy to be called, and it needs to be recognizable, and it needs to be close to people's hearts as well. And I think during that time, he felt that Julie was was a name that met all those criteria, tick all the boxes. And I think he also wanted to make sure that, it had global appeal. And yes, admittedly, back then, like you said, Chunwai, that the idea was, to aspire to the West, and I think we've kept that all the way to today. But 35 years later, when we did our research during the rebrand project, we found that our consumers still resonate with the girl who is blonde, and they don't want that change. And so we listened to what our consumers told us, and we continued in this fashion. And the truth is, whatever race she is, right, she represents who we stand for. So I do know that some people in Malaysia and Singapore have asked us, why isn't she an Asian girl? Why isn't she an Indian girl? And I think what's more important is that whoever we are, whoever the best of who we are, should be projected onto her, no matter how she looks. Yeah.
I think that's the right thing to do, to keep Julie the name and her looks. If you change the identity or to change her appearance, there will always be people who assume that it might be just an imitation brand. And question is, why do you want to fix it when you don't need to fix it? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And we've built those brand assets, that like her yellow hair.
Yeah.
You notice that from the old Julies, right? The old Julies, right? The colors of the old Julies are still very much represented in the logo of the current Julies, the new Julies. Yeah, because those are our brand assets right there.
Correct. Okay. Fast forward to 2021. Malaysians, of course, enormously proud of what Julie has done, the brand that they can associate with, having been associated with Soba for a while, and also the Malaysian Retail Association, the world has changed so much. Most nationalities, especially in China, they take pride in their local product. And in Malaysia too, they take pride in local products. Malaysian products have changed so much. They have become the real exporters to the world. Previously, we were just importing food stuff. I mean, we still do import the food items, but I'm talking about a lot of us has become exporters now. So the question here is that when how many countries has Julie been exported to? Can you just share with us some of your foreign market?
We are exporting to over, I think, some days it's some years it's around 80. It's wavers between 70 something to 80 countries, but some of them are really small markets, but nonetheless we still have presence in those markets. Our stronghold markets, or the markets that we have a stronger presence in, is of course Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, China, Vietnam, and Myanmar. And so these are the ones that, these are the countries that really are, we have very buttressed roots in. Yeah.
Can you share with me a little bit of the entry into the Chinese market, considering the fact that there are so many brands you have to compete in China?
I think kudos goes to our sales and our export team for doing such a great job they have done with China. I think they've built a lot of diplomatic relations with between the Malaysian government and the Chinese government institutions, as well as making sure that our brand and knowing which products to enter the market with, and also grooming those products, right? So there was really an entry point strategy for the Chinese market, and fortunately it worked really well. And from the entry point products that we went in with, we slowly grew our portfolio of products into China. Yeah. And I mean, I feel that much has to be said about not flooding the market with just all, because Julie's has a lot of products, right? Has a lot of different flavors and different sub-brands. So we had to really choose carefully which one we want to go in with, so that it builds resonance with the Chinese people. And I think we hit home, or we had a home run when we went in with Le Monde cheddar cheese, and then slowly we could introduce other products into the suite of portfolio, into our portfolio as well. Yeah, from our portfolio into China as well. Yes.
Are there any distinct differences in terms of taste and what the customers want between the Malaysian, Singaporean, and those in the foreign markets?
I think they're always very localized. Localized needs. They're always, very. It's just like when people try to say that, nasi lemak in Malaysia tastes very different from nasi lemak in Singapore. Bak kut teh in Singapore tastes very different from bak kut teh. Yeah, and to each his own lah. Yeah. And we try our best in our capacity to cater to different needs. I mean, sometimes there are certain things that are universal. Like I feel that the peanut butter sandwich and that Julie's peanut butter sandwich has been quite universal in its liking, right? In people's liking of it. But I feel like in Singapore, there is some segments of the market are a little bit more conscious about how taste heavy the product is. So if it's a little bit too salty, they may not like it. Yeah. So certain more considered, more healthy biscuits are a little bit more popular in Singapore than they are in Malaysia. Yeah. And in China, I think there is quite a distinct difference in terms of the taste preferences of the people in the north versus the south. In the south, they tend to prefer savory. The north, they tend to prefer sweets.
Okay. Talking about ingredients and materials, okay. You spoke about peanut butter. I mean, it's for someone who's not familiar with the manufacturing of this eating material. The use of actual peanut the use of actual strawberry. How is it been carried out? Because consumers sometimes feels that okay, how much is real stuff, how much is it artificial, and how much is real. I read somewhere that Julie does not compromise on it, that you use a lot of real material because that you want to keep the branding and the quality. Can you share with us?
Well, yes. So for example, in our love letter strawberry, I don't know if you have had them lately. Have you had any of the love letter strawberry?
No. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when you cut open the strawberry, what does it look like in the inside? What color is it?
Pinkish.
Like close to white, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not the regular pink that you associate it with your strawberry ice cream.
Yeah.
So that's an example of what Julie's does. We do not put in any artificial coloring. So if there is coloring, it will be naturally sourced. Similarly, for the strawberry one, we made sure that the integrity of the food itself is not disturbed, so that we don't add. We just, if it's the cream is white color, then it's white color. And then people will ask us question, why is it white? But that's really, when you make strawberry cream, it will turn out white. It's not going to turn out pink, like, I'm sorry, like the shirt that you're wearing now. Yeah, that's not going to be the color. Yeah. So so similarly, we take a lot of pride in the ingredients that we put in, and of course we try to source them as reasonably priced as possible, because we are still targeting towards the mass market as well. Yeah, so it's a fine balance to strike. And sometimes we have great ideas about different products and developing different products, but when we can't get the right mix of ingredients, whether it's too expensive or whether it's just doesn't make sense. The costing just doesn't make sense. If we did it, then we have to find a different alternative and have to find a different way to go about it now. Yeah.
You know that one of the changes in the consumption pattern is that more and more people do not want their biscuits or even any other eating stuff to be too sweet. How do you handle these changes of customers wanting biscuit to be less sweet?
I feel that again, this is something that we are looking into, and then I think this is something that we have to strike a good balance in as well. There are ways to extend your products that will make it such that, let's just say, the original flavor is sweeter, right? And some people do have a sweeter taste profile, right? We still need to cater to that market. And some people also have a lighter taste profile, and we will try to cater to the market as well. So right now, I think we're looking into ways of doing that. Or if not, if we can't do that without compromising the flavor, then we don't do it. Yeah. And I've also feel that of late we've been asked to think about how do we, be a more healthy biscuit company. But I feel that the question has a double-edged sword to it, because there's a lot to be said about health in the spirit of health, or the health of the spirit as well. Just like, these people who grew up with Julie's, they enjoy Julie's particularly because they bring a healthy spirit, and your spirits are lifted up by that. So one way, for example, our Oat 25, please look forward to it, right? Our Oat 25 is our oat range of biscuits. We looked closely at research to tell us how we should dress up Oat 25. See, oat has been traditionally known as something very healthy for people. But at the same time, the research also showed us that parents really want their children to eat oats. But oats is also perceived by children not to be, undelicious, not tasty. So and a lot of times oat is also overly dressed up in a very clinical way. It just looks like something you eat when you need to lose weight or grow sick. But that's not true. It can be fun. It can be interesting. It doesn't need to look like white and clinical so that it projects that health image. We can find different ways of doing it. It's just like how I believe. I don't know if you have children. Do you have children?
Grown up.
grown up. But I'm sure when you were young, you had to. When they were young, you had to find ways of putting vegetables strategically.
Absolutely.
Putting
Yeah.
vegetables into very delicious food so they can eat it,
Yeah.
right? Similarly, I think this is the spirit we want to bring the Julie's experience to the table. Yeah.
Do you have a R&D section where you need to create new kinds of
Yeah.
products?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that for Chinese New Year, is there any particular Chinese New Year products?
We do. I mean, every year. I mean, it's right here. It's the love letters.
Okay.
This year, probably nothing too spectacular, apart from the redress, because we feel that this year we're not going to do too much apart from give attention to the rebrand, right?
Yeah.
We cannot try and include new flavors and rebrand,
Correct.
but we really just want to make sure that people know the rebranding is going on. But this is, and I hope and I will make sure that this will continue to be a family favorite in Singapore, Malaysia, and other parts of the world as well. Yeah.
The love letters are in big, bold letters, man.
Yes, because you have to love big, right? To get big, and you need to love big. Yeah.
When I was looking at you holding the product, I was just telling myself that demographic-wise, would it be correct to say that it'll be mostly women who do the shopping at the at the supermarket, and they'll be the ones who will pick up your products? Is it correct?
Yeah, I think traditionally that's true. Yes, but I also feel that in like more metropolitan cities nowadays, it's also increasingly men as the family unit gets smaller, and men also take up some of the consumption work that women used to do. Yes. Yeah.
You know that Julie has come such a long way. It's days when it started in Malacca. Is Malacca still the main office?
Yes, we are still located. All our factories are still in Malacca. Yes.
I have to ask you this question, if you don't mind, because by nature as a newsman, I'm a very curious person. Okay, so as you say that Julie is such an iconic person. When I look at Julie, it's this blonde girl with a pigtail. But we need to ask a bit about the founder, Mr. Tzy Horng, who keeps a really, really low profile. And that we need to know how, for an accountant, if I read from the report that he was an accountant, how did someone with this accounting background started in this bakery business, so to speak?
Wow, I think it was just happenstance. That means he found an opportunity. He liked it later in life, and then he just went with it. I mean, I'm a psychologist, and now I'm I'm working. Right, and we know from psychological research as well that most people when they do their degree, their first degree, they don't end up around 90% don't end up doing what they do in their degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, they end up doing other things. Yeah, so he ended up loving biscuits and just went with it. That's it. I mean, of course, he had other businesses. I mean, he was always doing other businesses, but I think Julie's is something very close to his heart, and I think one of the success reasons is that he's been very lucky to have a wonderful, wonderful team of people at Julie's, a wonderful family at Julie's working with him. And when you have wonderful people working with you, I think you tend to want to continue working. He's 70, he's in his 70s, and he's still, enjoying work every single day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that coming back to you, because you mentioned that, I mean, you're an educational psychologist. It is something that we should be totally different from the biscuits business. But of course, you can actually apply what you learn and through experience in branding. I need to ask you, we come back to branding again. The use of video. This is not the first time that the company has used a video to promote its brand. Share with us more about the some of the videos that you have used to promote Julie in the past.
Okay, so the use of video, I think, and particularly the use of longer form videos. Not many biscuit companies are putting out, not many companies are putting out 15 minutes.
They use the commercial, but never
17 minutes and 55-second type of videos anymore. So I think it's only in the last 3 or 5 years that, maybe in the last 3 to 4 years that we wanted to do more storytelling. And it was maybe more of my idea of doing short stories and short films. We did one before the rebrand, and it was called The Translator. Right? It won many awards for Julie's and the agency who produced it, which is GOVP from Singapore. It really won many awards. Unfortunately, it didn't do too well during the campaign, but the other activities in the campaign did better than the video. So we learned our lesson. But the truth is that it's a project of creativity for the entire team in Julie's. Right? To take a chance to tell a story, to know how to tell a story, and to make sure that our story includes the Julie's values in each of the videos, right? And also for this rebrand, we applied the same principles, right? You notice, I don't know if you have watched the teaser to the main video. Oh, okay. It was on the focus group, and it was really a parodying of Julie's itself. We were making fun of ourselves.
Yes.
But the truth is that, brands need to, I believe brands need to take it easy.
Yes.
To be a little bit lighthearted, needs to be entertaining, and don't take themselves too seriously. Of course, you take yourself seriously when you have to, but when you let your hair down and just relax, you can have fun. And we went in with that kind of attitude for the main video as well. We wanted it to be funny. We wanted it to be fun. We wanted people to have fun during the process of making the entire video, making the entire film. Yeah. And this is the type of culture and the kind of experience that Julie's and everyone at Julie's family wants to produce moving forward. She's looking up because she's looking up for fun as well. She wants to have a wonderful experience in life. Yeah.
Has it been easy for you to convince the board, presumably comprising of mostly older people and perhaps even more conservative directors, that you want to do this long video, which is actually very acceptable and very normal in Thailand, They do this all the time, In Malaysia, it is less so. And that, in Malaysia, every time there's a Chinese New Year or Hari Raya or Deepavali commercial, we have got to start with all of us crying before we're happy. That seems to be that's the formula. Every year we're going to cry, and then finally we're happy. It's like been used over and over again. So, yours is really refreshing. That was one reason why I decided to call you that. How is it like to convince people or your staff that we need to do this long one, Watch the entire translator. Finally, we got the message. Wow, which was unpredictable, Now, I still consider myself young, although I'm 60, But I've been in this media business for so long that, and I've gone through my time as a CEO. It's always difficult to convince people to when it comes to branding, because SMEs are usually very conservative, very Chinese style, don't change so much, stick to the formula, that these are 招牌, don't change so much, But so I need to know how you manage to tell them, look, we need to do this storytelling video. Was it challenging?
I wish I could ask Connie to, my managers on the call as well, my brand managers on the call as well. The truth is they didn't see it until we released it. So they didn't know as well. We just did it, and I think we trust our top manager. And it's not true that they are conservative and old, right? They have grown younger. They have always been young, and they are our inspiration for taking adventures. I think my parents are both adventurous people. My marketing director, Martin Ang, is also a very adventurous, and he's not conservative in his ideas and stuff. So
they all remain young like Julie.
They all want to remain young. They all felt that this was the way to go. And when luckily when the film came out, they all loved it as well. So yeah, sometimes you just got to take a chance. You just got to Don't think too much about it. Have a great time. Have your consumers have a great time as well. And there's always ways to tell interesting and fun and meaningful stories. Yeah, just go for it.
In the case of the translator, why was Thailand chosen as the place to launch that video?
Actually, we shot that video in, so the story about the translator was conceived in 2017, 2018. It was actually conceived for the Chinese market, but we wanted to have a more global, so we always think globally because we're in so many markets. And Thailand and China are our key markets. So we wanted to bring the world, a little bit of the Southeast Asian world into China as well. And we thought about this idea that Julie's is the product is the little conduit that brings the world into other parts of the world. And so therefore the translator is a guy who is a very humble and very unassuming guy who brings, the Thai people, the Thai and Chinese people together, right? So the idea was that this this Chinese company, biscuit company, wanted to make inroads into Thailand, and therefore the translator appeared, and then he fell in love with a Chinese person. Yeah.
And that the sweetness is in between the biscuit.
Yes, the sweetness, the good in the middle was the tagline for the translator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you call it? Okay, now that you have done this video, two great videos, and that it is always difficult to keep on living up to the what do you call it, the expectations. Okay, it gets better and better and better. For many companies, they do this video every year, okay, or very frequently. But I noticed that you, in a case of Julie, it is not something that you do every year.
No, so I think in the future, I mean, we have really got to think about how we want to do the storytelling. The one, and we treat this as all learning experiences as well moving forward. The one thing that I was really impressed with this time around for the latest video, Operation Maybe, was that we worked with an all Malaysian film crew. And I have to say, Malaysian acting talent are just stellar. And the ideas are amazing as well. The writers are Singaporean, Malaysian, and myself. So I think most importantly is that we don't produce for the sake of producing as well. If we want to tell a good story, we make sure that the story is something we want to tell. Just like as brands, right? You really need to have that integrity, and you need to be you need to stick to your beliefs. Yeah.
How long
you'll be upset with me if you're also upset with brands that come up with video for the sake of doing videos, right? Right. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to finish the entire production?
The production from just the filming, is it?
Yeah.
The filming is interesting because we did it during the second MCO.
Oh.
The one in October. I mean, not during. We were about to finish filming already. Then the CMCO struck, and it was disrupted. It took us around a month. Yeah.
I noticed that a lot of the shooting had to be done at night, right?
At night, yes. Some of it had quite a bit of it had to be done at night. Yes.
Okay. The building is actually very familiar because it's next to the National Press Club of Watering Hole.
Oh, is that right? Okay, so I could not be in Malaysia for the shoot because of the CMCO, and it was very hard to get our agency the license. So it was all the film. Lobak Loon is the director, and he brought everyone together. And he was the one who chose that location. Yeah.
And Nada Raja, of course, was the star of the video, and he's a veteran in this business.
Yes, he is. Yeah, and he was just amazing to work with. Just amazing. He's such a good actor as well.
Okay, thank you that we have spent almost 35 minutes on the show. I just want to take this opportunity to say congratulations to Julie for a great job done. And those of you who have not seen the video, you'll be able to watch this in our Facebook chat, excerpts of it. Of course, we'll give a link for you to watch the entire video, which I think that it is a must. Okay, and I think that
thank you so much.
Julie has set standards for it, and that I also wish to thank Sai for spending time with us. Before we wrap up, do you have any message for customers of Julie and people who want to know more about this business?
I think very importantly, doing any business, really any business, right? Maybe it's not consumer facing, maybe it's B2B business. It's not just passion. You need to be creative. You need to you need to live a little, you need to have fun, and you need to take adventure. Yeah, you need to open up your heart to try different things. It's very, very important. It's what makes life very interesting and worth living for. Yeah.
Thank you. You know, if I didn't know your background, I would have assumed that it's someone from the ad agency.
No, no. Oh, that's the first time someone told that to me. Thank you. First time, yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for
ChunWai.
joining
Thank
us.
you so much.
Please like, share, and follow Tzy Horng and RealChunWai. Okay, 恭喜发财 and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
2 weeks ago, I was just another guy working in a biscuit factory for 35 years. That's a long, long time. Long enough for that little girl to grow up and tell me how to do my job. Not anymore.
Okay guys, camera's taken care of, alarms disabled.